Hello, this is Sheila Myers. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and my blog is Stamping Wishes. So today we're doing a blog hop, and the theme was fall in love with the new catalog, which, oh my gosh, if you haven't gotten your catalog from your demonstrator or you don't have a demonstrator, be sure and go to my blog and email me and let me know you need the catalog. And if you don't have our annual catalog, I'll be glad to send either one of them to you. But you can't help but fall in love with this catalog this year. I think pretty close to everything that's in here I've just about gotten. I just have gone gaga over this particular one. So let me show you the project we're doing for the blog hop today. I did this in our one version of it we did in our class this last month here in August, and they seem to really enjoy it, and it's got so many versatilities to it as to what you can put in it as a box. So let me go ahead and give you a look at what we did. And this is, of course, using a set out of the the new catalog. And when you open it opens up like so, and it's a wedge type box and makes a cute little gift box. So we did this in our class, and then I was playing around yesterday and thought, oh, we got Thanksgiving coming up, so I did this one here. Again, these are from our catalog. I just love these pheasants and stuff that they have. And then on the side, I've done the Happy Thanksgiving. On the bottom of it, you're not really going to see it, but I went ahead and brought my little decorations that I had stamped on the sides of the paper and stuff on over into it. So that was another version of it. Then I couldn't stop there. I had to bring in Santa Claus, of course, and his elf. So I used some of the new DSP paper, and some of the little cutouts for it are dotted ribbon. And then I used the scallop punches and stuff, and punched out one of the little scenes that's on the paper. So, and this paper is really, really neat. I don't know if you can see it in the picture, but it has a felt velour type texture on it that rises above the color. And this is that Poppy Parade, and I was just real tickled on the red and how vibrant it is and how pretty it came out. Well, today we're going to do a version of it, but we're going to do it with a Halloween theme. This is the paper that we brought in today for this particular project, and I'm kind of doing this on the fly. This particular, using this, I guess it would be called a storage or organization, came from Frances Martin. I saw her video on it and just thought it was the greatest idea, where you take your package of your cardstock and do a sample piece and get these little, I think they're called baseball insert type deals. And then I lined up all of the different designer papers that go with it for my scraps, and then listed them here so that while I'm using this, it's not, if I happen to lose the back of the package or whatever. And then because I do have a lot of DSP, I'm able to organize it by drawers and know exactly where to go when I flip through the my little organization book. But these are the backs of the other DSP that you saw over here. This is our new black foil sheets, and oh my goodness, we're going to use some of it today. It's just beautiful. I hope they carry that particular one over. All right, so let's go ahead and show you the stamp sets, and then we'll get started. I'm using the Cauldron Bubble, and I did a little bit of stamping, but most of it I did with our cutouts. Let me kind of show you some of the cutouts I've done pre-hand, because otherwise we would run out of time on the filming. Using the new black foil, I did some of the spider webs. I cut out from the DSP our little cat, and then I colored and cut out our little frog, so we had a little bit bigger one. And then I have a couple of pieces here that will fit on the inside area, and we'll try and measure those a little bit later. I didn't take, because like I said, I'm doing this on the fly, I didn't take a bunch of measurements of my extra pieces. I do of how to construct the box. And this box idea was not my original. I was looking through I can't remember how I stumbled onto it, but I believe it was done by a lady by the name of Amanda out of UK. And it's one from several years ago that she did, and I thought, oh, I really liked the look of it. Did a little bit of stamping here, and then of course all of these are cutouts again using the framelits. Okay, so let's go ahead and get to the construction of the box itself, and then we'll bring all of our pieces in and decorate it. Okay, so for your box, this is what I did for my class, is I gave them a smaller size version of this that they can have as an instruction sheet, and it told them exactly what their measurements was. On the bottom portion, which is where today we're going to be using the black, on the bottom portion they're going to cut it at 8 1/4 by 11, and then they're going to score it at 1 by 2.5. And it just, so I'm sorry about that. I had something in my mind that I may, when I did a quick version of this, I may not have cut off 1/4 inch of it, but anyway, I'm pretty sure I did. So what you're going to do is on the sides here, you're going to score at 1 and then at 2.5 inches on all 4 sides. And then what I did was go through, because the cutting pattern that you have, which I've shown here, it's this L shape look right in here. So I go through to help remind me of which ones that I'm going to be cutting off, so I don't cut off too much. And then you're going to cut straight up into this line here and straight up into this line here, so you end up with these little flaps. And that's what this looks like. And then for the tops, you're going to need 2 of these, which these are cut at 6 3/8 by 8 1/2. And what you want to do is, once you've cut it out, you're going to score it on the long side, which is this side, at 3 1/2 and then at 5. And then you're going to score it on the short side at 1 1/2 and then at 4 7/8. Then what you want to do, because what's going to be at the bottom of your box, you want to measure over about 3 1/8. That gives you your center portion of it, and also tells you which ends you're going to cut the flaps off on. And it won't matter whether or not you're doing them both, because when you bring the box together, they come from an opposite direction. So even if you were to cut them exactly the same ends and stuff, it's still going to work out when you put it together. So what you're going to do is you're going to, as I've showed in this diagram, you want to cut off your bottom portion, so that way you get your straight edge for the bottom of the box. When you go to cut into these flaps here, you want to cut them more into almost a triangle shape like I've shown here, because you don't, when you go to fold that angle, you don't want any of that card showing around your angle. And then on the upper section here, from the wide end, and what I call the wide end here, you're going to line this up, and I'll show you on our trimmer here in a second. You're going to line it up and you're going to come down to the angle. So the only one that I'm going to actually do is one angle of this, because I've already got these cut out. But let me kind of show you what you're going to do here. You're going to be having this cut up, and let's go ahead and do one side here. And cut up this direction. And let's go ahead and make our deep triangle cuts into this at each end. Okay, and then this end here comes completely off, the one where I have the big X. And you might want to do that when you're doing your cutting and stuff, just so you don't waste cardstock, because I did do a lot of this ahead of time, even for my team, so it would save them time, but also I didn't want them making mistakes on their scores and stuff when we're doing as many as 4 projects sometimes, so it gets a little bit hectic on it. But what you want to do is on the wide side up here, and remember which is your wide side, that's going to be your peak. And then over here, once you've lined that up into your score, and this is what I'm doing, here's my score line right here. So I hold that, and then I move that on over, and then that's what you want to cut this with. So bring your cutter and just give you a wedge cut, and that's what it will do, and you'll do that on both sides. Okay, so let's go ahead and push this off and start constructing our box. because I've got all the pieces, like I said, already pre-cut here, and I hope that this is going to come out, because I did do a quick cutting and measuring of it, and there's one measurement on it. I'm just really concerned that I may not have cut off part of the box like I had, so it may throw this off, but we'll see. If it does, well, it does, and we'll go around it. Okay, so you want to make sure that you have burnished all of your score lines, getting them all nice and crisp. And if you notice, I've wedged all around all of my edges. They just make a neater box when you do that. So be sure and do that whenever you're making your box as well. Okay. All right, so we can go ahead and start gluing the tabs in. Let's see which one of these are. What I kind of had in mind was layering this and then putting the girl up on dimensionals on top of it. So let's go ahead and get this layer done. And I used the layering oval framelits die set to cut out my two sizes as you see here. And let's say this is our center here. So we're going to want to put that in about the center part. So let's see where she would come at, and she'll be right here, kind of in the center, but because it's going to flip back and forth, it won't matter, you know, if her hat's not attached or anything. We want to make sure her body is. So let's go ahead and attach her body with a couple of dimensionals. Let's see. This is one of the new tools. I just got it, so I haven't had time to use it that much. But it kind of works like like our other tools do, except I think it's supposed to lock. There we go, locked it in. So you can use it for your small, like we'll use it on the mini dimensionals when I get to that, but let's go ahead and use it here on her, and let's use a couple of the little mini. One for her hand over here, and then probably for her feet. Whoops. And I'm not going to worry about the top of her hat because it is going to be off the cardstock. So let's go ahead and get these covered papers off and get her on. Everything's wanting to stick to me today. Okay. So again, let's put this where we think we're going to have this. I want her in the center, thereabout. Okay, and then let's go ahead and put her broom is next. Now this one I did stamp, and then I used some of the the blender pens, but I used the dark daffodil and some of the Cajun craze in there, and then the soft suede is the rest of it. And it does leave a little bit of a white edging, and I just took the blenders and I went around the edges of it so that it, you know, she would have a complete coloring in her broom. And I think what we'll do here is go ahead and dab some glue on her fingers, and then we'll put a dimensional off to the, let's see how that's gonna, yeah, let's put a small dimensional right over near this portion of it, because we've got to keep it encompassed on this. We can't go to the other, have to make sure we don't go to the other side where it's going to be opening up. So I think that looks good about there. Okay, and we'll let that dry for a second. All right, so then I cut out the cauldron as well, and I have to show you, these are for another project, but you can see I've cut out a bunch of the hats, and this was all from the, I brought the paper over so you could see this. This is all from the paper, and I strategically cut around so that I would try and leave as many of the girls that can be fuzzy cut. There's only this one that where her hand is up this way and then down that the framelit fits on. So there's only certain ones. Now on the hats, all of them fit, as you can see, and I just, again, strategically cut around it to salvage as much as I could on that. Okay, and so we want to put the, let's see, we want the cauldron over here, and the bubble, toil, and trouble there maybe. And let's see, we've got the little cat and the frog. Yeah, I like how that looks. Okay, I think that's what we're going to do. All right, so on these, I'm going to go ahead and glue them down instead of putting them on dimensionals, and because when we go to do, I want to pull in this, I don't know if y'all have seen the new ribbon we've got in the holiday. Isn't this gorgeous though? And I want to somehow incorporate this ribbon in with tying a little tie over here. So I'll put this one here, I'll put with dimensionals on each side here, so it'll have a way to run through. And then I'll take it to the back here, and then I'll have a piece that comes from the back there that will come together and tie here. Okay, so I think that's what we're going to do. Let's go ahead and get this over here before it dries on us. And the ribbon may, and that won't look bad if the ribbon goes over there like that. Yeah, it'll be fine. If I would have thought, I would have put that one on dimensionals too, but that's okay. This will all work out. Okay, let's let that dry. And the same thing with the cat. And put a little bit of glue on the cat. Let's get it over. These are such cute little characters. I like Halloween stuff if it's not, I don't know, frightful or ghoulish or anything like that. I like the fun, costumey type apparels. Not into, we don't, all of our children, our child has grown up, and so our grandkids too, and they don't live near us here, so we don't get to enjoy the Halloween like we used to when they dress up in funny little costumes. Okay, so yeah, I think that's, oh, it's one to pop back up. Let's hold it down for just a second. And we could have used the snail adhesive, but believe it or not, I let myself run out. I know, it's hard to believe, but I did. Okay, so I'm going to set her to the side here and go ahead and construct the top of the box here so we can start putting some of this together. and then we can fit in the rest of the pieces. Which I may have. No, it seems to be fitting nice and snug. Might be a little bit wider. See how those are gapping here? And like I said, I did it really, really quick. So I very well could have cut my box a little bit wide, but I think we can make this work. I think I forgot to take off that 1/4 inch there. And let's see what it looks like from this side here. Let's go ahead and dry fit it all in here. Yeah, I think this will work just fine. Okay. And then, of course, she'll come up here like so when we get done here with the ribbon. And then I think while we've got these dry fit here, I wanted to see about the... Okay, so what we're going to do is let's go ahead and glue our bottoms down here, and then I'll be able to tell where everything else should go. Okay, so let's go ahead and glue this one side here. That was a little globby there. Let's close this in before it has a chance to leak over anywhere. And in some cases, if any time when you've trimmed this, if it happens to want to go over the edge of the box, just trim these back pieces a little bit further. Because again, this is your back, and as long as it looks pretty tidy, then you should be fine. Okay, so this is what I kind of have in mind for the sides, and I wasn't real sure how this was all going to fit. It just kind of was one of those things in my head that I'll put one of these Happy Halloweens on each side, and then I was thinking that the webbing would be cute to glue it just on this top area here, and then just trim off from here to over here where it might catch, you know, when it's laying down or when it's sitting up and everything. So I think that'll be real cute there. So let's go ahead and I'm going to glue this together. I may speed this up, so I'm not going to be doing any talking right now as I do that real quick. That stuff how I really wanted the ribbon, and the more I thought about it, the more I thought, well, let's go ahead and take it all the way around the box, and that way it's it'll be secure here, but it'll also give a little bit of a trim on the edges too. So let's go ahead and get us a bow tied over here. And I think I'm like most people, I hate doing bows on the camera like this, because if it can go wrong, it's going to go wrong while you're on the camera, but we'll give it a try. I love the way they made this ribbon, because it makes beautiful little bows and stuff. I think it's got like a little wire edging in it, so it really does make for it. And then with that sparkle of silver in there, oh, it's just beautiful. Let's go ahead and trim this off here. Okay, and let's go ahead and put her on with dimensionals. That looks good there, so let's go ahead and do that real quick. And we're just gonna do it where we can get that ribbon. Let's see, I think I can do 2 more here, kind of line it up just to give it that extra enforcement. Okay. All right, so there is our box. I think it came out really cute and would make a nice little gift for anybody. So anyway, thank you for stopping in on our blog hop today. And I'm sorry this video probably took a little bit longer than it should have. But thank you, and if you like what you've seen and would like to see more, please subscribe below. I would love to have you view some future videos. All right, thank you and God bless.